to the fact that your social skills are malleable. And what that means is that they can improve, they can be worked on,
Yeah.
and it's not like a set of tools and skills that you are given with as you're born.
Hello and welcome back to Better Than Yesterday. Today, Michael and I are gonna hop onto a call based on social skills and how to apply the growth mindset within this side of our lives. So, back then, before Michael and I were sitting in front of a camera, we might not always have had the confidence to do this. So, today we just want to outline a bit about how to get into this and how to become a better social person, even being shy or being more introverted on that side of the spectrum. But before we get into that, Michael, how's it been, man?
Brother Daniel, so good to be back on a call with you here on a Thursday night. And yeah, I must say things have been so well on my side. How's things in
Yeah.
Rehoboth, Namibia?
Yeah, no, it's been a hectic week. A lot of things that's been happening behind the scenes, but yeah, just glad that it can be Friday soon, man. And looking forward to the long weekend.
Friday is here, and it's well deserved for the both of us, man. But to hop into this, I think this is something that really just gets me excited
Mm.
on the end of self improvement. I think when I look back and I think of one of the biggest things that self improvement has done for me is improving my social skills, and it's just opened my mind. And that's what I think a big part of the idea behind this video is today, to have a conversation to open your mind, listening to the fact that your social skills are malleable. And what that means is that they can improve, they can be worked
Yeah.
on, and it's not like a set of tools and skills that you are given with as you're born. Thank goodness it's not that way, because yeah, if that was the case, then I would still be someone who's very socially limited today. When I was younger, man, I used to struggle. I didn't struggle to make friends and to speak to people my age, but what I really struggled with was
Mm.
speaking to anyone who was maybe not my age. You know, like someone older.
Yeah.
If I had to go and speak to someone that I thought was one of the cool kids, then I would really struggle, because any kind of
Yeah.
social situation that was kind of out of my comfort zone was really difficult for me. And I think
Yeah.
that stemmed the root cause of that was because my self esteem was very low. So if I didn't see
Yeah.
myself on the same level as someone, then I couldn't speak to them, you know, with any level of skill.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
think, you know, when tackling this topic of social skills, one of the core things to tackle is that self belief. Is, do you have the belief that you have things to offer of value to other people?
Mm.
And that only comes from, you know, a lot of self reflection, a lot of you know, finding your purpose, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of practice as well. You have to practice speaking to people who you are not comfortable speaking to, and it's
Yes.
tough. It's like a shell that you have to break, and there's probably some walls that you've built up that you've had to break down to do that. But I would say that's the very first step, is starting to believe in yourself and what it is that you can actually bring to the
Yeah.
table. Dan, what would you
Mm-hmm.
say from your experience is one of the first steps to becoming someone who is socially attractive?
Yeah. So, in that, like you've just mentioned, you have to start believing in yourself. So, in that you have to also be living with a purpose so that I believe in what I'm doing and where I'm going. So you can't live an aimless life. So in that, it's going to make you become more attractive socially because then you've got that confidence to speak out when you need to, even if you know that it's going to have some people that are going to speak up against you or have something negative to say about that conversation that you want to bring up or that issue that you want to address. The self belief is going to allow you to bring up and address that issue because you know that is the right thing to do, and that if you don't do it, you're going to end up feeling bad after the person is gone and you're just sitting by yourself and you knew there was something that you needed to address. So I would say that is the first thing, that you can't be a people pleaser,
No, so true, man.
and to realize that you cannot make everyone like you at the end of the day. Some
Yeah,
people are going to agree with what you have to say, and some aren't. And you shouldn't be scared of that. So you have to move past that fear and have that courage. But even looking back now, what I would say, like, I really struggled to talk to girls I found attractive. Like,
yeah,
it was difficult. I would freeze in front of them.
that's right.
And nowadays I've been like, even before I got into the relationship, it was easier to talk to ladies that I found attractive, or that I would see that might be as a higher value than I am.
Mm,
But you shouldn't even look at things like that. In any case, I had to become uncomfortable with myself before I became comfortable within talking to a certain level of girls from my perspective. And that takes time. It's not like you're gonna get it right the first time. You might still hesitate to say certain things, or you might stutter, but it's about like taking the time to practice and not beating yourself down because you didn't get it right the first time. You go
mm,
and you do it again, and you start seeing people as human beings just like you
yeah,
are. And that's a important realization, Michael, that did you
couldn't agree more, man.
also realize that when you look at things from a perspective of being a bit more open-minded towards how someone else is thinking, and taking yourself out of just feeling like a certain way about yourself in
Yeah,
that space, because it's easy to think about, no, it's just me, the world is around, like evolving around me,
yeah,
and then you don't look at what the other person is seeing and how they are experiencing life. But have you had that moment where you were like, no, maybe if I'm thinking like this, the next person could also think like this? And
mm,
when you did have that moment, how did it affect you, like afterwards? Like, what was that mindset change for you?
sure. I've definitely had quite a few moments like that before, man, and it's, I think,
Mm,
in that, like, one of the biggest thing that uh changed my world, when it came to social interactions, was the
mm,
realization, like, I always used to be so worried about what other people were thinking about me. Like you say, if I was to
mm,
say the wrong thing, oh, they're gonna think I'm an idiot. They're gonna think you know, even with girls, like you say, you
mm,
wouldn't want to say half of a sentence to them because you're worried that they might think you're not
yeah.
cool. Maybe the tone of voice that you used wasn't like chill enough. Like, these are things that go through your mind. And
Yeah.
then I came to the realization, I was like, do I critically analyze anything that people are saying to me? Like, if I'm having a
Mm,
conversation with someone, am I sitting there and dissecting every single word that they're saying? And then, oh, look,
mm,
they weren't very relaxed when they said that. They must be a nerd.
mm,
That's not how you think. That's not how you think.
mm.
So realistically, that's not how other people are thinking as well. You know what I mean? But for
Yes.
some reason, in my head, I thought that was the case, that people were just psychoanalyzing all my movements and, were super worried about what I was doing. But at the end of the day, that was the realization that really changed my world, is that people don't care about you that much. Like you say, the world doesn't revolve around
Yeah.
you. So the
Mm-hmm.
whole interaction shouldn't be about you. And on that,
Yeah.
one of these things as well that really allows you to become a social butterfly, man, is just the idea that you need to actually be what you want to see. And this is an interesting
Mm,
thing, man, because if you're in a social setting, even whether it be like at a party, let's say, and you get those people that you meet sometimes who are just, they bring out like the best of everyone. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
they walk into the room and everyone is like initially drawn to them. And if you look at why people are drawn to those kind of people, it's usually because they have a lot to give. As soon as they enter the room, they are giving out energy and giving out positive energy specifically. And if you are so attracted to that in some other person, you might leave that party going home, and on the way home, you're like, wow, that person was just so cool. Like, they were really friendly. They asked me about who I was and what I do. Like
Mm.
they just came and brought so much to the table from the get go. So if that's what you like to
Yeah.
see, then from a completely non-selfish perspective, not because you want to be,
Mm.
you know, this guy who's good at speaking to girls at the party, but simply because if people can give that back to you, and you leave the party thinking, wow, that person was so cool. Don't you want to be that person who enters the room and other people end up leaving the party going home and thinking about you like, oh wow, that guy was just so cool, you know? So that's also something that
Mm.
changed my perspective, is like you should come into the whole scenario with a different mindset, and instead of thinking,
Yeah.
what can I like get from this situation, or what can I or even coming in with that super negative mindset where you're like, what are people thinking about me? You should just be thinking about what can I actually give to these people around me, like
Mm.
what can I say, or do to brighten their day. And I do find, I
Yeah.
must say, that if you come into it with that mindset, you are so much more likely to leave with positive outcomes, because you're not thinking about
Yeah.
yourself. And that goes for a lot of social interactions. If you come into it thinking about yourself, you might not leave in the way that you intended. But if you go into it thinking, how can I make this better for other people, then you'll find that the positive outcome is actually the best for yourself anyway. So
Mm.
it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can relate to that, man.
Yeah, no, no, I definitely relate with that. It's something that's been it's been on my mind like back then when I was trying to get into a different space socially and not be so stuck in myself. And what comes to mind in that is you have to be comfortable in your own skin. You have to
Mm,
realize that this is the personality I have and this is what I can bring forward to the best of my ability, and this is what people will enjoy about me. So it's about being authentic and having that authenticity. And why Michael and I talk about this today is because when you're going for a job interview, it's also about the first impression that you make. And
mm,
then they've read your CV, they've seen what you can do on paper, but now it's time to show that you are actually that person that is being reflected on paper. So that's why you have to walk in with that confidence and that social skills to be able to navigate those conversations. And as much as I'm able to like speak in front of a camera now or in public spaces, it's still not an easy thing for me to do. There's
mm,
fear that I need to push past, and that I feel all of us have that nervousness when you have to stand and speak in front of a large crowd, but it's just about how you handle the moment that
exactly.
time. So it's not like this fear or this anxiety goes away, but it's like you're able to manage it better. And that's also where the skill comes in. It's something that's practiced. And just to add a point on that is that when you are making that first impression in the interview, it's about like how you bring yourself forward, because initially you're selling yourself to that company,
Yeah.
or even if you're in the entrepreneurial space from the get-go, it's how you're selling the idea that you have, that you want an investor to invest in. So it's important to be able to speak when needed. Afterwards you can go and sit down, be in your own space, be more quiet or drawn back, if that is how it is that you are. But it's a lot of the times, as much as it's easy to just tell yourself that no, I'm just gonna be more quiet and laid back and I'm not gonna say anything, that actually brings more attention to you, because
Yeah.
why is this person so quiet, or why is this person not saying anything? So in that you can realize that okay, yes, I am more on the quiet spectrum,
Mm,
so there is maybe just a few things that I am going to say. But what matters is that when you want to say something, say it, like make it known, give your opinion, because who knows how valuable that opinion is going to be, and you can only judge it by the way people respond to it as well. And from there you can also then navigate on how to take the conversation further. So, yeah, that's my contribution to how you can improve socially. and why it is important. Because at the end of the day, we are social creatures
Amen.
and we need to know how to socialize. And what we're also trying to say is that through the growth mindset, it's something that you can work on and something that you can improve. Just because it is a struggle now doesn't mean it always needs to be a struggle, or there always needs to be a limitation. You have to
Mm.
get yourself out of that mindset and tell yourself that no, but I am able to improve this, even if it's going to take a while.
Now, beautifully worded, Dan. Much appreciated for those nuggets of wisdom, and we do hope that you guys, yeah, that this has been a useful conversation and something interesting to listen to. I know that, yeah, I mean, when I was only a few years younger, I think this is exactly the kind of advice that I needed. So I hope that it can fulfill the same purpose for you. And if you guys want to know anything more about developing your social skills, then ask us. Reach out to us. Here at Better Than Yesterday, we like to be open and we like to be a community. So get in touch with us. And if you don't know how to do that, then leave a comment, and we'll get in touch with you. But Dan, it's been a beautiful conversation. We do hope to everyone that's been watching and listening that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving a like and subscribing to this channel to see more of what we are doing here at Better Than Yesterday. But that is it from us. Much love from BTY.